High schooling during a pandemic, taking a closer look at your emotional well-being, brought to you by COVID Recovery Iowa.
As COVID-19 enters its second year, it continues to impact and shape teens' lives.
Unfortunately, the pandemic is not over yet. Many teens have been struggling with stress due to lack of social interaction with friends and extended family, disruption in school or summer routine, and changes to future plans.
There's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to connect with. It's like constantly feeling deflated.
When our world changes quickly and suddenly because of things like COVID-19, it's common to experience changes in our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Everyone reacts differently to stressful situations. Some of the typical reactions include feeling overwhelmed, isolated, bored, frustrated, angry, anxious, restless, sad, tired, worrying about the future, worrying about contracting germs, lack of motivation to do anything, and finding it difficult to feel happy.
A national survey conducted in spring of 2020 with high school students found that nearly one-third reported that they were unhappy, depressed, much more than usual in the past month. Almost 51% said that they felt a lot more uncertainty about the future as well.
So what about high schoolers in Iowa? Let's hear from some now.
Hi, I'm Zach. I really think COVID has affected me in a lot of ways. I think one of the biggest ways it's affected me is really in my social life. I really like being around people and being able to talk to people, but in a way, COVID's been like distancing to us, and I haven't been able to connect with people in the same way I am outside of, just normal life. So I think COVID in that way has really affected me. And even though we do have technology and just different ways to call each other, it's really also affected the communication between other people, between themselves and I. So, yeah.
Something that we've experienced during the pandemic is just a lack of motivation in general with our schoolwork and with other stuff that we have to get done. But one positive interest that we've had has been taking care of our animals. We own rabbits and horses, and just being able to spend time with them, it improves our mental health and our attitude.
Hey, I'm Josh, and one way that COVID has really affected me is through music. I'm in band and choir, and I like to do a lot of musically inclined activities in school. One way it's really affected me is just especially in choir, trying to sing through the mask. One thing, it's just, for me, it's helpful to at least think to myself that we'll get through it eventually, and we'll get through it together, and at least we can still enjoy the activities that we are participating in. So I always have that to look forward to, and that's how I personally coped with COVID.
Hi, I'm Lexi. During quarantine, there have been many positives, and I really think that a couple positives is that it gave us teens to figure out who we are and how to mentally and physically work on ourselves. But there have also been negative side effects to this. We've lost a lot of physical connection with people, and it's making us have more screen time. And I really think that this is going to make it hard for teens to have face-to-face connections. I think that adults need to consider that this is also very difficult for teens, for we lost physical connections with our closest friends, and we are still trying to understand everything that's been happening. Currently, things are tough. Although we are able to have face-to-face connections at school, we are still finding it hard to reconnect with the people we lost during the lockdown. On the upside, we are able to be out of the house and talking, which in my opinion is really helping us out. Thank you.
You were ready.
This year has been really challenging for a lot of people, and we have to wear these masks, and sometimes it's hard for people to hear us, but we all have to learn about what's going on inside our heads as well. We've spent a lot of time alone, whether that's in quarantine or just having to realize things about ourselves as we're growing and changing and learning And so I think that's one of the best things we can take away from this year is just what we know about ourselves and how we can handle things like stress, wearing a mask, and having to communicate in different ways, whether that's online learning or just with a mask, or using your facial expressions more as you speak if you want to show people you're happy or you're not feeling so great today or whatever's going on in your world. So
COVID has definitely been a difficult time, from school to relationships to families. It has really impacted how we think, how we feel, and how we act. I think what has been most difficult is to see my high school students struggle with relationships as how they knew it in the past, and dealing with adversity, dealing with not being able to attend things, to be as involved as they wanted to be in the past. So it's been sad to see that. But on a positive note, I think in some ways it has brought us a little bit closer together. So I think it's important that we stay positive, that we still make things happen for our students, that we keep a positive attitude, and that we forge ahead and know this is just temporary. And that the bottom line is, if we all stick in there together, we can all achieve good things and get through this difficult time.
The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on your mental health should not be overlooked.
Here are a few self-care tips for teens that can help you cope and protect your emotional well-being.
The phrase self-care may bring up images of bubble baths and pedicures, but it's actually a lot more than that. Self-care refers to intentionally engaging in practices and activities that reduce stress.
It's important to remember that self-care is not about self-indulgence.
It's not about overspending or spending on stuff that you don't necessarily need.
It's not about overeating.
Self-care isn't necessarily about spending hours on social media.
Self-care is not about self-destructive behavior such as alcohol, vaping, drugs, or gambling.
Self-care includes everyday healthy habits and activities that nourish your mental health. Here are some tips that you can add into your daily routine.
Tip number 1. Maintain a daily routine. This could be eating breakfast every morning when you wake up, or going to sleep at the same time each night. Just remember, consistency is key.
Tip number 2. Stay connected with others and try to find moments of gratitude. Zoom is a great way to stay connected with family members and friends.
Tip number 4. Limit coffee or energy drinks. These can increase feelings of anxiety and make it difficult to relax.
Tip number 5. Spend time outdoors when it's possible. Nature has shown to have calming effects on our bodies and mind.
Tip number 6. Regular physical activity or exercise can relieve moments of high anxiety.
Tip number 7. If you are finding that information about COVID-19 is overwhelming and distressing, limit news on social media.
Tip number 8. Keep calm and carry on with hobbies or activities that you enjoy.
Tip number 9. People around you are probably also finding the situation stressful, and they might also be having difficulty controlling their emotions as well. Be kind to yourself and others.
Tip number 10. Seek help from a mental health professional if you continue to feel overwhelmed, out of control, or unable to calm down.
And now a few tips from Iowa high schoolers.
Hi, my name is Luke McMillan. I cope with COVID by keeping a positive attitude and just staying social.
Hi, my name is Sydney Bookman, and I deal with COVID by keeping involved in sports, listening to music, and keeping up with my schoolwork.
Hi, I am Maddie Leary. I try to just keep a positive attitude and I try to stay busy with the things that we can still do.
And now a message from Miss Iowa 2020, Emily Tinsman.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Tinsman and I am the current Miss Iowa. I know through this pandemic, a lot of us have been struggling mentally, emotionally, and physically. I have definitely learned through this pandemic that I am stronger than I think. I can persevere through anything, and so can you. Some of my coping strategies have been through journaling, through making music, and really prioritizing the relationships around me. I wish you all the best, and I hope we can all make it through this pandemic stronger and together.
At COVID Recovery Iowa, we have virtual support groups for teens and preteens. If you or anyone you know would like to join, please reach out to COVID Recovery Iowa. Thank you for watching. For more information, visit us at covidrecoveryiowa.org, or you can contact us through our warm line, our Iowa Concern hotline, or our line in Spanish.